At the session, George Harrison sang and played the guitar. I had a terrible cold that day, and George went to the store and bought a ginger root, boiled it, and had me stick my head in the pot to get the ginger steam to open up my sinuses. And then I ran in and did the take. I Won't Back Down, the lead single off Tom Petty's first solo album, Full Moon Fever, is a simple yet timeless song about defiance and perseverance. We play this song every week in my adult Zoom music class. If you'd like to learn other songs like this with some personalized instructions, you can sign up at the link below. Today, we're going to learn all the musical ingredients that make up this classic tune and how you can practice to get better, faster. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get tuned up, and let's make some music. You have 4 basic chords in this song. The first chord is E minor. In this song, I play E minor with my middle finger, second finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and my ring finger, my 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. It's good to check your chord. Once you have it set up, pluck each string. Make sure you get a clear sound. The second chord is D major. So this is your basic D chord. I like to play D in this song like this though. 2nd finger, 2nd fret, E string, low E string. 3rd finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string. So you get this sound, E minor, going to D major, like this. It's a first inversion D major chord. Used a lot in folk music. So we have E minor, D major. You can play the standard D chord if you like. Then we have a G major chord, simple G major. Make sure your chord sounds good. So we have E minor, D major, G major. And then the 4th chord is C major. One thing to try to make sure you do with the C chord is don't strum the top string with that chord. You know, that note's actually part of the chord, but when you play it that low, it sounds real muddy and it doesn't work. So we have E minor, D major, G major, and then the last chord is C major. So they don't always go in that order in this song. There's 2 main sections. You have a verse and a chorus. The verse goes like this: E minor, D major, G major. You repeat that: E minor, D major, G major. Now it changes: E minor, D major, C major. E minor, D major, G major. So that's the verse progression. E minor, D, G, E minor, D, G. The 3rd time, E minor, D, C. And then for the 4th time, E minor, D, G. So E minor, D, G. Then it does that again. E minor, D, G. The 3rd time, E minor, D, C. And then the 4th time, E minor, D, G. Alright, so that's the first section of the song. We'll get to the second section, the chorus part, a little bit later. Alright, so we have the chords now. We have the 4 basic chords: E minor, D, G, and C. With major chords, sometimes you say major, sometimes you just say the letter. So if I say D major, it's the same as D. With minor chords, you always say minor. So we have E minor, D, or D major, G, or G major, and C, or C major. So now that we have the chords, we need to get the strum pattern. So on the E minor chord, down, up, then you switch to D major, down, up, and then to G major, down, up, down. So you notice the G major, the 3rd chord of each line, is twice as long. So E minor, 1 and 2 and, then D major, 3 and 4 and, then G major, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you break that down, or you put that all together into one line of the song, and you get E minor, D, G, and then the count is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. going to practice this a little bit now. The verse chord progression: E minor D G, E minor D G, E minor D C, E minor D G. All right, and we're going to put the tempo, we're going to set the tempo on the metronome at 80 just to start, just to get kind of going here. So we're going to think in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I think that's 80. Let me check. That is 80 beats per minute. Perfect. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and E minor, D, G, and you repeat that. E minor, D, G. Now E minor, D, C, back to the E minor, D, G. And let's repeat that a few times. So E minor, D, G. Do it 2 more times all the way through. E minor, D, G. Again. Now E minor, D, C. E minor, D, G. Last time. E minor, D, G. Good practice. So that's about 80 beats per minute. That's the verse chord progression, the first section of the song. At that point, I would click the metronome up to about 90. If you're feeling comfortable, if you feel like that's a good tempo, you got 80 under control. Let's go to 92. Let's go to 92. 92 beats per minute. Here we go. E minor, D, G. E minor, D, G, E minor, D, C, E minor, D, G. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. More comfortable, you can finally click up to the actual tempo of the song. Let's play through the verse chord progression 4 times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minor, D, G, E minor, D, G, E minor, D, C, E minor, D, G. 3 more times through that. Here we go. Times through that. One more time through that. So now we know the 4 basic chords for this song. We know the strum pattern. we know a little bit about the structure, the verse section, the chorus section, that sort of thing. All right, before we get to the chorus section, there's a small 2-measure part that we need to learn that connects the verse and the chorus. And it's very similar to the verse, and there's 2 different ways you can approach it. Here's the first way. E minor, D, and then on G you go 1, 2, rest, rest. So for those rest, the way you mute the strings is either with your right hand, muting down here, or your left hand. You can kind of do it either way. But basically for the rest, it's silence. So E minor, D, and then on G you strum twice. 1, 2, then you rest, rest. All right, let's try this with the metronome at 80 beats per minute 4 times through. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, D, G. 1, 2, rest, rest. E minor, D, G, rest, rest. Let's do the same thing, only this time at 92 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, D, G, rest, rest. 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 Nice work. Here's another good tip when you're practicing music with a YouTube video. If you'd like to slow it down, you can click in the settings on the video and choose playback speed, and you can slow it down to 75%, 50%. You can speed it up if you want to try to practice faster. So just a good little tip there. Let's try this at 112. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, D, G, 4. E minor, D, G, rest, rest. E minor. There we go. So that's the first way to practice this. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the second way that it deals with syncopation, playing things, switching chords on up strums, and a little bit more technical, but let's give it a shot. Here's the second way to approach this connecting section between the verse and the chorus. E minor, D, G, C, G. All right, all of a sudden it just got a little crazy. All right, so you have E minor, D, then on G, 1 and 2 and 3, and. So the C chord comes in on 3, and then you switch to G on the and of 3. So you're switching chords like that, which is something different in this song. And maybe that's new for you. Well, so here's how I do it. You're switching to C to G really quickly, and this is sort of my trick. It's not a trick, I just like the way it sounds, but maybe it's easier for you. If it's not, just disregard this completely. But here's a little thing I do. C, I play it like this, like a regular C chord, except your 3rd finger is on the top string, 6th string, 3rd fret, and your pinky is on the 5th string, 3rd fret. And then when you switch to G, you just move your middle finger up 1 string, and you have like 2 notes of the G chord right there, and you just don't even play the high E string. We don't really need it. So that's sort of what I do right there. If you want to switch between the full chords, you can, however you play those 2 chords. Here's another thing people do sometimes is C, add your pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. It's still a C chord, but that note's G, and it goes with the G chord. So you can kind of approach this a lot of ways. If you have any questions, ask me questions in the comments section. But so let's kind of go through that one more time, and then we'll practice it with the metronome. So you have E minor, D, then G, C, G. Okay, so E minor, D, G, C, G. On that G chord, it's 1 and 2 and then 3 is C, and the and of 3 is G. So 1 and 2 and 3. All right, let's try this with the metronome. 80 beats per minute. 4 times through, here we go. 2, 3, 4. E minor, D, G, C, G. E minor, D, G, C, G. E minor, D, it got hard all of a sudden. Tempo is a good thing to kind of be aware of, and rhythm is a good thing to try to be in control of when you play music. But you don't want to try to play too fast. If you look at like a good athlete or somebody that does something really well physically, you say, oh, it looks effortless, right? So you kind of want to practice in a way that's comfortable. Okay, 92 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, D, G, C, G, E minor, D, G, C, G, E minor, D, G, C, G, E minor, D, G, C, G. Very nice. So here's 112, and we'll play it 4 times through. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, D, G, C, G, E minor, D, G, C, G, E minor, D, G, C, G, E minor, D, G, C, G. All right, welcome to the chorus section. So we're going to approach this section in a similar way, and I'm going to give you 2 options, one that's more of a beginner level, because the chorus deals with this thing called syncopation, where, again, we're strumming, switching chords on up strums, and accenting upbeats and that sort of thing, which is maybe a little difficult when you're a beginner. So here's sort of the beginner way. There are 2 chords, C major and D major, and this is how you're going to play it. C, 1, 2, 3, rest, D, 2, 3, rest, C, 2, 3, rest, rest, C, 2, 3, rest, D, 2, 3, rest, then like the verse, D, G, E minor, D, G. Alright, so that's sort of like the beginner way to play the chorus. If you like in those down strums, the C, 1, 2, 3, if you feel comfortable with that, you can even increase it and go down, up, down, up, down, up, rest, down, up, down, up, rest, down, up, down, up, down, up, rest, down, up, down, up, down, up, rest, down, up, down. You can kind of do that, as you get more comfortable with it. So let's practice this with the metronome. 80 beats per minute. Remember, 3 times through, C, D, C, D, C, D, and then like the verse, E minor, D, G, E minor, D, G. 80 beats per minute. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, rest, D, 2, 3, rest, C, 2, 3, rest, D, 2, 3, rest, C, 2, 3, rest, D, 2, 3. Just like the verse, E minor, D, G. Again, E minor, D, G. That's the chorus section. All right. Let's try this now at 92 beats per minute. C, D, C, D, C, D, E minor, D, G, E minor, D, G. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, rest, D, rest, C, rest, D, rest, C, rest, D, E minor, Let's play the chorus now at 112 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, rest, D, rest, C, rest, rest, C, rest, rest, E minor, D, G, E minor, D, G. There we go. There's the chorus. And again, that's sort of like maybe a little bit of a more beginner way to approach it. Sometimes you learn a song, you want to learn a song, and you get the verse down, and then you get to the chorus, and you're like, I don't know this, I really want to play the song. Well, you may just need a little bit of a helping hand to get into that actual version of it. So here's the beginner way to do it. And then once you feel comfortable with that, try some of this other thing out. All right, so here's the other way to play the chorus, and that involves syncopation. So the chorus is actually going to start on the and of beat 4 before we even get into the chorus. So for example, we're starting on a C chord, and I would count 1, 2, 3, 4. Before you get to beat 1, you're strumming up. So I mean, right off the bat, it's trickier than the other way to play the chorus. But let me play through it a few times, and there's going to be a G that's on beat 4 by every measure. So G's sort of like, let me play through it, and then we kind of pick it apart. So you have C, G, D, G, C, G, D, G, C, G, D. Then like the verse, E minor, D, G, E minor, D, G. Right? Even that ends on an up strum. So it's a lot of syncopation. That's kind of what gives it a cool feel, right? Because the verse is very much sort of driving, a little bit more rock-like, and then you get this nice stuff. So right off the bat, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's on and 1, 2, 3. Those are both on up strums too. So let's kind of break this down. You have C, then you switch to G. So 1 and 2 and 3 and on the and of 4 you switch to D. Here are the chords I play in this. I play that same C chord from before, where you have your ring finger, your third finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, and your pinky, your 4th finger on the 3rd string of the 5th string, 3rd fret. All right, so that's C. And then when you switch to G, that same G right there, without the 1st string. And then D I play like this. So similar to the verse, but with the 3rd string on the 2nd fret also. So you can play a normal standard D. I just play that because I like the sound of those lower notes underneath the chorus, and it kind of fills it out. But you can play all the standard chords. So you have C, 1 and 2 and 3, G, D, and 2 and 3, G, C, and 2 and 3, G, D, and 2, G, C, and 2 and 3, D, and 2 and 3, and 4, and E minor, D, Let's give this a go with the metronome now. Okay, now we're going to play the chorus section at 80 beats per minute. I'm going to count 4, and we're going to start on the and of 4 of that count off. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. See if we can get that. All right, let's practice the chorus section at 80 beats per minute. Remember to start on that up strum. If it catches you off guard the first time, that's all right. Rewind, start again, and let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice work. Let's click it up a notch. 92 beats per minute. Same thing. Don't forget to start on that up strum. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice work. If you're ready, let's click it up another notch. All right, now we're at 112 beats per minute. Let's see what we can do. Don't forget to start on that up strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, D, G, C, G, D, G, C, G, D, E minor, D, G, E minor, D, G. All right, now we've learned the chorus. At any point you want to, just go back and re-practice different things make use of, like I said, the YouTube playback speed feature. Once you have the verse section, that connecting section, and the chorus section, then pretty much you can play the whole song. So, thanks for checking out my acoustic guitar tutorial of the song I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty. Probably one of the biggest things we could take away from today is an approach to practicing that involves using the metronome. If you feel like you have all these sections down pretty well, go ahead and check out my play-along video. If that video is not uploaded yet, go and try and play with the actual Tom Petty recording. As always, like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.